After many years of trying to figure out how to not screw up with women, how to not make mistakes, how to not say the wrong thing, how to always have the right thing to say, and covering over my insecurities and figuring out how to stay calm if something gets screwed up, I had a profound realization. I think maybe the first time I was introduced to it was in a book on investing that I read, where it said, if you screw up on an investment, don't have a quick knee-jerk reaction and immediately get out as fast as you can out of fear. Pause for a second, ask some experts what their opinions are, and make a rational decision, make a logical decision. Don't get emotional and get crazy. And there was a story about a guy who was a currency trader. I think it was in one of the Market Wizards books. And he made a currency trade, and I was working for one of the big investment banks or something, and it went bad, and they lost like $40 million instantly. And it looked really bad. And he went into his boss, and he said, uh-oh, I think I might be about to get fired, but in the meantime, I just lost us $40 million. And the boss said, you know what, just wait a second. Let's just take a look at this. Let's get some advice. They looked at it. They decided that things might bounce back. Market bounced back a little bit. They got out. If he would have made a knee-jerk reaction, they would have lost the $40 million, but they got out okay, and he learned a valuable lesson. I've learned a valuable lesson when you're interacting with women, with a woman, especially with the total 10. If something goes wrong, if something gets screwed up, relax into it. Relax into it. Don't freak out. Don't get self-conscious. Don't go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, everything's ruined now. Don't self-consciously try to fix it or make her happy. Just relax. If it's funny, laugh. If it's not, don't. Just relax. And if you screw something up and she gets upset, it's even more important that you just relax. Everything's going to be okay. And just be there, be present. 80 or 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it will go by, and 5 minutes later, it'll just drift off and it'll be forgotten. Even if it seems really weird. Even if you're out to Italian dinner and you drop a meatball on your white shirt, and as you go to catch it, you hit the wine bottle and it goes all over her $1,000 dress that her mother gave her right before her mom died. And she goes, ah! If you just relax into it and surrender to the universe. For me, what I get to when these things happen in my life and in business and stuff, I just have to shake my head and laugh and go, here's another lesson for me. Teach me, universe. Show me what I have to learn. It'll be okay. You'll have a meatball stain. She'll have a stained dress. Everything will be okay. You'll work through it. And if you're cool, if you can just relax into it, a couple of months later, it'll be a little bit of a joke. It'll be something funny. It'll be okay. The problem comes when you're not okay with it happening, when it affects your self-image, your self-esteem, and it messes with you to the point where you're like, oh my, I'm so sorry. And then all night you're like, oh, I feel so bad about and can you ever forgive? Oh no, I've ruined everything. That's when that's when you open up your subconscious mind and you put this new emotional stamp inside of yourself and on the relationship. Just do what you need to do in the moment to make it better and let it go by. This is especially true in an intimate sexual relationship. Things happen. Mistakes happen. Uncomfortable things happen. You might touch her in a way that reminds her of a horrible experience she had. She starts freaking out, and then you learn about it, and oh man, or something messy might happen, or something weird might happen. This stuff just happens. Relax into it. Just handle it. Everything's okay. Process through. 90% of the time, most of the time, it'll just fade. It's okay. Just stay cool. Spending all your time trying to figure out how to not have that happen or some cute line, that will just waste your time and waste your life. Are you ladies ready? Surprise guests. Cameo appearances, really. I've got a, whoa. These men have seen very few women over the last few days. They're clapping and they don't even know what's going on yet. Wait just 1 second here. One second. Look at this, we got the runway for you. Isn't that great? That's why it's here. Because we don't have much time, I'm going to do a short introduction. These are two spectacular women. I know both of them personally, and as I've gotten to know them, I've realized that they're the kind of women that most guys are really looking for. Very different personalities, different temperaments, also best friends, and they're just a great match together, aren't they? Don't they look good together? So you got, I'm not going to go into it. Welcome, Lauren Francis and Carol Allen. Now, while you ladies are coming up here, I'll say these are both published authors. And I've both done a lot of TV. You guys get the couch and I get the chair. I don't know if I could just keep my cool with one of you sitting next to me up here. And they've both done a bazillion media appearances, traveled, been relationship coaches and experts for, probably more than 10 years each? Yeah? 17 and 12 years. And each have very interesting takes on different elements. Now, you've been watching a little bit. You weren't here for the first 2 days when I said we were just going in deep and trying to clear out all of the stuff. The journey to get to now, wake up and see what's really going on. I'm really interested in, what are your candid thoughts on what we're doing here so far?
It's totally hot.
Totally hot.
So sexy.
Nice.
You know what? I actually am so excited by the fact that there's a group of men coming together to focus on having great relationships with women. That is very hot.
And also how to be amazing men. I mean, you want a good pickup line? Just go up to a woman and go, hey, I just went to this fantastic seminar on how to be the best man I can be. You are so in if you talk about stuff like that.
Yeah. I was talking to...
But don't say you went to a seminar on how to have great sex. She already wants to think you know how to do that.
So the conversation here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the conversation to the next level. Okay, over the last maybe 10 years, we've had this, breaking through where all of a sudden it's okay to go learn about how to be more successful with the opposite sex. Women have been doing it forever. For women, it's totally normal and cool to talk about it and go to seminars. For men, we're just kind of coming out and going, I need a little bit of help.
Well, we'll ask for directions.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. So, and here the conversation is more about not just how to meet women, but how to become the kind of man that attracts and keeps a really high quality woman, which is a very different conversation. Right. So from your perspective, what does it take to become that man from a woman's angle? How do you see it?
She told me that I had to let her speak first.
Lauren's very alpha, so I have to compete with that because she alphas me. I would say you guys have all known it and heard it today. Confidence is just so incredible. I'm married to a fantastic man. I've been married almost 11 years. And he was wildly successful with women before I came along. And his secret, I will tell you, is to get us talking and to just listen and to actually give a darn, right?
Lauren, you in your book, you've got these characterizations of these weird, skeezy men. And they were, when I read it, I thought, oh my God, I know all these guys. Like, and she has them characterized as birds and different types, and I was like, this is incredible. What does it take to go from that, or maybe not optimal, to take that step up to the next level?
Well, I just want to preface this by saying I'm a love coach, and what I do is I help people become self-defining in the area of personal love and relationships. And I work primarily with women. You know, that's my sweet spot. And I went on tour with Victoria's Secret, so I've got a lot of man magnet skills on how to attract men. The problem is a lot of what I think is really the most significant thing that you said, and I've been here for about like 2 hours, is I loved when you were talking about confidence, right? And this is the secret. This is a secret to women, I think. Women want to relax. Women really need to relax. So when David's talking about being poised and confident, what were the 4 P's that you said?
So physical poise, emotional passion,
Right.
intellectual or logical presence, which is more than that, but presence, and then purpose.
And persistence.
And then persistence, wrapping them all.
The thing about persistence that's so great is that it lets a woman calm down, right? And it lets her know that you're not going away no matter how much she freaks out. And I know in some of the seduction communities, they talk about a woman giving a man a shit test. Have you talked about that in here? Do they know what that is? It's like when you meet a woman, and I'm sure you've gotten some shit from some women in your lives. Am I allowed to swear on this thing? They're going to edit me right out. It's okay. Whatever. I don't care.
Knock yourself out.
This is for you. So when you meet a woman and, you know, they're talking about being cocky funny, which is like you're kind of like messing with her, right? Teasing, right? A woman will often do the same thing, and she'll kind of give you a little bit of crap. Have you ever experienced a woman giving you a little bit of crap? No, right? A lot of crap. What a woman wants to feel is that no matter how upset she gets, no matter how kind of wound up she gets, no matter how nervous she gets, that you are actually, like you said, running the show. That she can. Have you ever heard a woman say, "Oh, he's my rock. He's the best guy"? What that means doesn't mean that you're never going to have a problem or that you're never going to have a bad day, but that you are consistently available to be strong for her. That's really what women want. And that's what we want in bed. We want somebody who doesn't give up on our orgasm, right? And this is like a big tip because we're talking about sex. You know,
You just can't help
I call
yourself.
it the 2-for-1 rule. If a man pleases a woman first, you're in. So don't even think about pleasing yourself until you please her first. Once she's had an orgasm, she can go all night. But if a man doesn't pay attention to relaxing her and then exciting her, she's not going to orgasm. That's it.
I've got a book called She Comes First.
Oh, there we go. I don't do any research even on him, so I'm excited.
No, I
about
didn't
that.
write it. I bought it. It's like at Barnes & Noble or something. I meant like I own
I'm
a
less
book.
excited now. But as long as you took the tip.
Anyway, I wrote a book called She Comes First.
Oh, my God.
It'll be coming out in about 6 months. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I would love to add what she just said. I think the way to get to this stuff is, somebody today said something so great, micro baby steps. You know, it's not enough to just take our word for it. You actually have to live these things. You have to try them out. And when she says we want to relax, you know, if you study the evolutionary psychology of humans, women's brains at rest are never at rest. We're like zing, 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 zing. We're worried, we're anxious, we're freaking out all the time. You guys have no idea what it's like.
Baby? Where's the baby? Where's my husband? Where's the baby? I need to go shopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Nobody laughed when you were saying, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where's my husband?" There was a complete silence over the whole audience. 330 men didn't hear that.
They heard we want to go shopping.
Oh, the shopping part. Okay, that's cool.
But, you know, if you study this stuff, women feel more pain, women have more anxiety, women have more depression. I mean, what we go through in a month hormonally, it's like you guys don't go through in 20 years. So when we find a man that can calm us down,
Make us relax.
lovingly, it is like, that is the holy grail for women. I mean, that is like all we want. So just try it with little stuff and then get more confident. Try with big stuff.
I always coach women to do a lot of things, but one of the biggest things in my coaching is how to make a man feel empowered and not emasculate a man. A lot of women behave in a very emasculating way and they don't even get it. They don't even know what they're doing. There's so little information out there. So many people are just recreating what they saw in their families or recreating what they're seeing on TV. It doesn't work. And the biggest thing in a man's life, honestly, is his sense of mission, right? If you think about the most important thing in your life, do you all have a mission? How many men here know what their mission is in life? Okay, that's hot. And how many are doing something where you really feel like you're off track and you're not living your mission? Okay, so your assignment really is to find something that lights you up that you can feel passionate and inspired about. But the journey is what's important, right? So even if things screw up, you just enjoy it. So
Thank you, universe, for this lesson, I think you said earlier.
so
I haven't felt this much gratitude in years.
he's so handsome. Okay. Anyway, don't distract me. So mission. The biggest thing that a woman can do for a man, in my opinion, is to support a man's mission. I'm on your side. I'm very man-friendly. And when women are in opposition to your mission or in conflict to your purpose, you are with the wrong woman. And if a woman has needs that are in total conflict with your mission, you're with the wrong woman. So for example, if you're a man that travels all the time and you're with a woman who needs a lot of attention, and she's going to pitch fits before you leave, she's going to fight with you while you're gone, you need to leave, unless you're married and you have children with that woman, you need to break up with that woman. You need to go find a woman who's really busy, who's got a lot of girlfriends, and likes to go shopping. And there are those women.
I agree with the first two parts of that, but the third part I'm a little shaky on. but-
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to find somebody who can support what it is that you do. So if you are a born-again Christian and you want to go on a ministry and you are with a woman who doesn't believe in God, you're not with the right woman. So the very first thing you have to know about you in terms of female selection, how many of you feel like you're constantly picking the wrong woman? Okay. That is usually, right, that's a lot, okay? One of the secrets to success in a relationship is to understand what it is that you need. And when you understand what you need, then you can spot it. And a lot of your difficulty, a lot of people that are wind up in relationships, right? And then 2 years in, it's a goddamn nightmare, right? Have you ever been in that situation, right? So this happens because you chose what you wanted, but not what you needed. And we could even do an exercise about this, which is totally transformational. Can we do this?
How long does it take?
It'll take them about 3 minutes.
Go.
Okay. So, do you have a pad and a pen? Okay. What I want you to do, am I hijacking the seminar?
Not at all. I
Okay.
told you, boys, what'd I tell you?
Okay. Because this is really high value, okay? And this will change your lives. And then I guess we'll take questions. I want you to write at the top of the page, my dream woman is. Okay. Now, I'd like you to do a really quick list of everything. If you could have anything in the world, what would it be? It can't be me or Carol. Or both. It's a man's seminar.
Oh, no,
You never hear that at a girl's
No,
seminar.
he didn't say or both. He said, how about both?
Oh,
And
question.
it was Adam, of course, in the back there.
On your team.
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
so I want you to write, if you could have anything in the world that you want to write it all down. An ass like Giselle Bundchen's, whatever it is, write the whole thing down. So now I want you to look at that list. Okay? Can one person read their sample list? Somebody willing to do that?
Someone close to the mic? Want to just run right up here?
I wrote blue eyes, tall, thin, nice smile, loves God, pretty face, nice breasts,
Excellent.
bold and strong.
Bold and strong? Okay, stay here, please. Okay, now, on that list, what do you need?
Bold.
Bold. What else is on that list? You can have great tits. You might need them. It's okay. I support it.
Nice smile, religious thing, and the strong. Strong is really important.
Okay, so strong, bold. How about loves God?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Let's give him a hand. That was brave of him to read that. When you look at these lists, the thing that you can tell, the way to tell the difference between what you need and what you want is if she's gorgeous, has a great ass, nice smile, but she's a cheating, lying bitch. Would you be with her? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to look at these lists and I want you to actually circle the things that you can't live without. If it came in a different package or a different flavor, you could handle it.
Because it usually does.
Well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, and certain things are, like fidelity is important, monogamy might be important to you, honesty might be important to you, cares about you, supports you in your mission, right? And I think that if you focus on this list, this is a very profound thing. That's going to be your shopping list when you go out looking for the right woman. Okay? So you don't get confused about the surface of things and you actually start looking at who this woman is underneath to see if she's the right person for you.
And I would add, write a list of the man you have to be in a relationship. And when you meet a woman, find out if she'll let you be that man. This is huge. I'm married to an actor. He travels. He has love scenes. You know, lots of women would not be okay with that stuff.
Well, Carol's supporting Bill's mission.
Right.
You see, she can support his mission. So if you wrote a mission statement about the man that you want to be, and then get clear about what you need, right? You would need someone who wouldn't be jealous, who would be okay with you traveling, right, if you're an actor. Then you can vet women for the fabulous role of being your partner.
But then your job is to resist all the other ones.
Well,
good luck
or
with
not,
that.
depending if, well, whatever. Okay. Do we want to do questions?
No, you know what?
We have to wrap?
Yeah, we have to wrap because we're
Okay.
already a little bit late. Okay. Give these wonderful, beautiful
Thank you.
ladies
Bless you.
a round of applause. Oh. Mwah.
Super fun.
Mwah. That was great. I am excited. We're in for a treat right now. You're about to meet a friend of mine, someone who might be potentially the most inspiring man I can think of. The most inspiring man I can think of. And I say that because this is a man who has overcome challenges that are so far beyond the ones that I've dealt with and has learned so much from them that when I look at the challenges he's overcome and I hear him talk about them and I hear him talk about the lessons that he's learned from those challenges, it makes me realize just how much more I could be learning, just how much more life has to offer me. He also just happens to be good-looking, charismatic, and funny. And he likes to bust my chops a lot, and I assume he's going to be doing that the normal amount or more. You may have seen him in my cocky comedy program. Please give a warm welcome to Sean Stevenson. How's it going, buddy?
You know, only in this city could you go out into the parking lot and experience what I experienced earlier today. And David, you want to hear up this one? And that is, I heard like Barry White music in the parking lot. And I went outside and I saw this Jeep Wrangler with like a giraffe. And I was like, what? And apparently that has something to do with transformation? I don't know. Anyway, you had to be there. Oh, you were, actually. All right, so I want you to know I love you. And you might be thinking, what the heck is he talking about? How can he love me? He doesn't even know me. Well, I'm going to let you in on some secrets that I've never shared in a seminar. I purposely went back to all of the material that I did in all of David D'Angelo's programs and make sure that I came up with everything new for you guys. So by raise of hands, who has seen me on some of the programs? Raise of hands. Awesome. You're in for all new stuff. So I want you to know how I see the world, because I love everyone. Do you get that? I love everyone. Why? Because the second I don't like somebody, they own me. Write that down. The second I don't like somebody, they own me. They own my energy. They own my thoughts. They own my feelings. Women love me. Why? Well, I want to break down everything that I do for women to fall in love with me. I got to tell you, I know what some of you are thinking. I read blogs. I Google myself for ego reasons sometimes, and I see, what are these guys saying about me? I'd say about 90% of you really like me. Thank you. 10% of you, maybe 5% of you out there, and maybe you're not even in this room, but I've noticed that there's some people out there that don't like me, and it shocked me because I'm like, I don't even know you. How could you not like me? I was reading these blogs, and some of them were saying there's no possible way that Sean's dating women, let alone beautiful women. I'm struggling here in life. You know, I'm this regular guy, and I'm on this blog, and how is it possible that Sean is getting some? How is it possible that Sean has a dating life, that women are falling in love with him? Mathematically speaking, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to break it down for you. I must tell you that what I'm going to share with you is something that might make you uncomfortable. Some of the things I might share with you are brand new concepts, and they may shake you up a little bit. But wouldn't it be great to live in a world where you are happy and you didn't have to do anything, have anything, get attention, approval? You could just be happy. Raise your hand if you guys like happiness. Yes, me too. And I got to tell you, it's one of the most seductive qualities. Have you ever, raise your hand if you ever heard the line, I get high on life. I get drunk on life. Raise it up high. Yeah, we've heard that. Well, I started looking at the ingredients, if this metaphorical experience of life, if it is a drug, if it is a drink, and it does get us high, it does get us drunk on things, what are the ingredients? Well, the key ingredient is happiness. Because when a woman meets a happy man, and I'm not talking about like fleeting happiness, like, ooh, I found $20 in my jeans pocket at laundry time. Not that kind of happiness. Not like, I got to the next level in the video game, sweet dude, high five happiness. That's not it. It's fleeting. I'm talking about true happiness, gentlemen. I'm talking about the kind of happiness that you see in a child's eyes when he's looking at clouds floating up in the sky. He doesn't need anything more. I'm talking about happiness that you see in like the Dalai Lama's eyes. You know, a peaceful, peaceful man. I'm talking about the kind of happiness that you see in pictures or video of a proud father holding his newborn child for the first time. He's looking deep in his eyes and he's happy. That kind of happiness that no matter what happens to you, you have just this awesome shield around you, and nothing can rattle you. Nothing can break you. I was born breakable by definition of physics. I was born with a rare bone disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta, causes the bones to be extremely fragile by nature. In fact, when I came out, the doctors got very quiet. And the kind of quiet that can only mean one thing: we have trouble. There's something wrong here. And I turned to my parents and they said, we need to race him to another hospital right now. And so they swaddled me up and took me away from my parents. And they put me in an ambulance and raced me 20 miles to the nearest hospital that handled genetic defects. And they said, something is wrong with Sean. He has some condition that's causing his bones to be so soft, it's like silly putty. It's so fragile, they're crackling like glass. And we're pretty sure every bone in his body is already crushed. And he's probably not going to make it through the next 24 hours. And I'm telling you, there's two very strong people in my life, and that is my mom and my dad. And the reason why they're extremely strong, because they said, you know what? Thanks for that expert advice that he's not going to make it, but you're wrong. And they raced me to this hospital. And what they found was I was born with this rare condition that was going to stunt the growth of my bones for the rest of my life. Now, most people would say, wow, what a horrible condition. He's going to grow up his whole life. He's never going to be able to be normal size. He's never going to be able to walk. He's never going to be able to run and climb and jump and play. He's never going to be full size. That's got to suck. And if he even survives, is it worth it? Let me tell you, when people pass me on the street, they make a huge, wrong assumption. They look at me, and if they don't know me, they don't know anything about me, I can see in their eyes, there's this moment, this exchange that we have, where they say in their mind, I can feel it, I can hear it, I know it. They look at me, and they think, oh, man, that must be rough. And they couldn't be any more wrong, because I lived the life of a rock star. I got to tell you guys, there are stories... There are stories my mother begged me not to talk about on stage that have circulated in our city. But I got to tell you, I live a phenomenal life. I've traveled to 47 states, 6 countries. I filmed a fitness video called No Excuses with Miss Fitness Universe. I liked that one. I wrote several books by the time I was 21. I traveled speaking to the United States Senate on many occasions. I was on the Oprah Show in the New York Times. I could go on and on and on about my accomplishments, but that's irrelevant to you. Why? Because I want to be able to teach you how you can have whatever you want with the time that we have. But I got to tell you, I love my life. Number one, I started with, I'm going to return to it. I love each and every one of you. I love the listener on the audio program, the viewer on the video program. I love every single person, even the guy that looks at me and says, Sean can't be getting some. He can't be dating. That's impossible. He must be an actor that David D'Angelo hired. I saw that on a blog. Sad. But guess what? I love them too. Why? Well, it was only fair that I spend time with, why would somebody doubt me? Why would somebody doubt my success? And then as I continued to talk with David before this program started, over the course of the weeks prior to this event, I said, you know what, David, I realized something. He said, what's that, Sean? I said, I threaten men. And I can't even beat up a first grader. And he said, tell me more. How is it that you threaten men? I said, I threaten men because I blow out every single limitation they've come up with to be small in life. They look at me and they see me with the beautiful, amazing, total 10 women, and they think, how is he doing this? And that's scary to them because they have a choice. Either go back to their cocoon and cry and make up more excuses, or change. Change can be very scary, can it? I mean, when you keep doing the same stuff over and over, you get good at perfecting your BS. You get good at telling your story, your victim story of the reason why I'm in a bad relationship is, well, my parents left me when I was a kid, and I never got the love that I needed. And man, you get all this hit of attention, sympathy from everyone, and they go, wow, that's why your relationships are messed up. Yeah, we understand. And you get two things out of that. One, you get validation that you're right. Oh, and it's good to be right. We love being right. Especially as men, we love being right. And the second is, we don't have to change. Gentlemen, you came to a program called Man Transformation. I do believe you want change. Make some noise if you want change. Now, was I always powerful and confident and believe in myself, attracting total 10s? No. Let me walk you through my love evolution. Because my love evolution might parallel your love evolution. I went through life, always up until 7th grade, with girls around me at all times. See, I never went through that girls have cooties phase. I never had a sign on my fort that said no girls allowed. Nope. I loved them. I loved them so much. I loved the way they walked, they talked, they smelled, and I had no sexual thoughts at that age. It was just happiness of being around them. They were social creatures, something I wanted more of. And while other boys were saying, ew, I cornered the market. Remember the supply and demand? Lots of supply. I swooped in. Something happened. 7th grade. I always had a girlfriend through grade school, whatever that is. Hold hands. Call her a girlfriend. She walks around with you. 7th grade, though. Ooh. 7th grade, I finally landed the girl. Not just anyone, you know, the one. She was a teen model. She was older than me. I was in 7th grade. She was in 8th grade. Whoa. All my friends were blown away that Sean was dating such an amazing girl. Everybody was jealous. I was the king of my castle. Have you ever had a moment in your life where you felt like you were unstoppable and you had everything? Raise your hand. You just had that moment. Whether you did or not, you just felt it, right? Everything was great, and I remember thinking, man, life is so good. Everybody wants to be me, and then one day, I showed up at my locker. And I opened my locker, and I was supposed to meet up with my girlfriend after school. We were going to hang out, go to the candy store, talk. I opened up my locker, and I found something at the bottom of the locker. A note. And not just any note, a piece of paper that tarnished my soul for another 14 years. It messed with my psyche for another 14 years. I opened it up. Just a few lines on it. Sean, we have to break up. I can't be dating a guy like you. I'm sorry. I folded that note up and I was confused. I was thinking, a guy like me? What the heck is she talking about? A guy who's nice? A guy who's funny? A guy that knows all the lyrics to, you know, Vanilla Ice? How? It was the early 90s, guys, all right? So how? How could she not like me? What is she talking about? Somebody got to her. So I went and did what any guy would do. I needed an answer. I went to my cousin, Katie at the time, and she went to school with me, and I said, Katie, I need you to run me an errand. I need you to do a mission for me, reconnaissance. She said, anything for you, Sean. So I said, you need to find out what she really meant by this. I will not be satisfied. I will not rest until I know what's wrong here. She said, okay. She went out, found out, came back to me the next day. We were in school. She came up to me, and my girlfriend wasn't returning my calls. She wasn't showing up after school. Finally, next day, I'm in the hallway with Katie. School's out. Katie said, I found out, Sean. You're not going to like what you're going to hear. I said, just say it. She said, Sean, she said that she really likes you. but that all of her friends were making fun of her, and they said that she could do better than dating a little man in a wheelchair. She could have the captain of the basketball team. She could have any guy she wants, and she just couldn't handle the pressure, Sean. I'm sorry. Have you ever had that moment where you can't breathe? Where it's like somebody steals the breath out of you and you just want to die? You're just thinking, what just took place here? So I looked at my cousin and I said, thank you for finding that out. And then I rolled down the hallway and I found the nearest door that was open. It was a biology lab and it was empty. And I rolled on in. I shut the door. I went in the corner of the room and I cried for an hour straight. I didn't even want to look at the windows because they were a reflection of me, this hideous me, the guy that a woman could never fall in love with. Why? Because I'm flawed. And I made a critical error in this moment in that biology lab. An error I do not want any of you making. I made up a limiting belief. And the belief was this: Sean, you're not enough, and you never will be. I think I am not alone in this room, because everyone has had a moment in their life where they did not think they were enough. Raise your hand if you've had that moment. That's everyone. 14 years went by. I was convinced I am not enough. What happened? Oh, that's the rest of junior high, high school, college. After college for a few years, every girl I met, every relationship I started, failed. I don't mean ended, I mean failed. And it failed because of the belief. The belief that I am not enough. So what is the job of a belief? A belief's only job is to prove itself true. That's all a job of a belief. A belief is not this evil thing. It's just a soldier, and it will take its orders and march into battle, either in your favor or against you. So every woman I met, I just held my breath when we started getting into a relationship, thinking it's only a matter of time. She's going to figure out I'm not enough. She's going to leave me. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I vibrated that energy. Every woman I convinced, I'm not enough. You're going to want to go out with my buddy. You're going to want to go out with this guy. You're going to want to go out with this guy. Why? Because I'm flawed. I might be perfect on the inside, but I'm sure there's a guy out there that's perfect on the inside and the outside. You might as well just discard me. I had that. Do you get that? That was me, 14 years. That curse ended in a car. I was in a car with a girl I was seeing at the time. We had gone on many dates. This was a girl that was what I thought a total 10. You know, she was beautiful on the inside and out. She loved personal growth. We met at a personal growth seminar, which I find very sexy. When a person wants to take their life to the next level, nothing can be hotter. So I meet this girl, I'd start talking to her about this book, and all of a sudden we just turned into this relationship. We're in this car one night. We just left the bookstore. The car smelled of chai tea and coffee. I loved the scent, and I smelled her perfume, and I thought, here we are. I'm the king of the world. I got the girl. The curse is ended. Yes! She looked at me, and she said, Sean, we need to talk. Excuse me? I don't want to say this. Just say it. Sean, I can't keep going out with you. And I don't want to talk about why. You don't want to talk about why. You just want to just say, oh, we're through, and you're just going to, leave me hanging. You can't do that, woman. I need an explanation. She said, all right. I never grew up as a little girl dreaming of a little man in a wheelchair sweeping up me off my feet. And so therefore, I talked about this with my friends and my family, and this isn't what I want. You're everything I want in a man, but The container you're in is not what I'm looking for. And I shot back to that 7th grade moment. Biology lab. I am not enough. Chest caves in. Except this time, I was different. This time I had 14 years of knowledge on my hands that a 7th grade boy didn't have. I looked at her and I held back the tears and I said to her, I have some news for you. And she said, what's that, Sean? I said, you think that you want everything that you have in me, but in another man, you will never find it. You'll never find it because everything you love about me is all a part of me. You can't take the spirit out of Sean and put him into this guy's body, Mr. 6'5", tall, dark, handsome, and think he's going to be the same guy. He won't be. I am the man I am because of the condition that has forged my personality. And guess what? You are in for a rude awakening because after we break up, after we go our separate ways, you'll get into another relationship. And you'll find another great guy. Except that time may not be a wheelchair, may not be a little man. Maybe he was divorced a couple times. Maybe he's a different religion. Maybe he's a different skin color, a different weight than you thought you wanted, as that little girl in the castle waiting to be saved, rescued by her Prince Charming. You, my dear, need to grow up. You know who I was really talking to? Me. Do you get that, guys? We treat people the way we treat ourselves. That day, I had it. She was just a mirror. I realized I was going to stop vibrating at the frequency of a man who's going to attract a woman who cannot fall in love with me completely. That I was doing something in this equation. I was attracting over and over women who would fall in love and then have an idea, this isn't what I want. And when I got out of that car, I went on a several-year voyage that led me to this stage. That voyage was to figure out, who do I want to be on this planet? So I turn to you now, gentlemen. Who do you want to be? Because there's a lie circulating in society. It says, oh, you need to find yourself. BS. You don't find yourself in life. You create yourself. I want to teach you how to create yourself into a man that vibrates at a frequency. And I mean vibrates at a frequency. Read the book Power versus Force. Right? Everything is energy, gentlemen. Everything. The stage that I'm on, the cameras that are recording me, the microphone, your skin, the bones in your body. It's all a vibration. And if you don't have what you want in your life, simply because you're not vibrating at the frequency of that which you want. Now that might sound like hocus pocus. That might sound like woo-woo. It's not, gentlemen. Call it science, call it spirituality, but it is what it is. I want to teach you how to manifest a phenomenal quality of life, not just with women, but just business, health, family, friends. You got to raise your frequency. How do you do that? Let's break it down, shall we? I went on this journey several years. I went through guru after guru, waiting for somebody to tell me, Sean, here's the method. Sean, here's the plan. Somewhere along the voyage, I realized no one had the plan for Sean. Sean had the plan, and it was unfolding with his actions. I ended up in this voyage meeting David D'Angelo several years ago. When I heard that, wait a minute, confidence, humor, that's going to help me? I like that. I can do that. Wait a minute. So you're telling me, David, that I just have to be present and clear my mind and breathe? I can do that? Wait, you're telling me find a purpose, find a passion, and women will fall for me? I totally can do that. I can be the man that attracts the woman. Let me share with you what I call the tunnel light moment. Everybody hopefully will be on a path to find their tunnel light. You've heard the phrase, I'm just taking it and using it in a simpler term. Tunnel light is that moment in your life where you're not there yet. You don't have what you want, but you know if you keep working on that path, you'll get there. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. My tunnel light moment happened a few years ago. I had just signed an office deal to move into this new location because I'm a psychotherapist and I work with guys and girls one-on-one to figure out how do you fully love yourself so you stop destroying your reality the way you're doing it. I opened up this office. It was a gorgeous office, and I just felt like I was at this high frequency, and I walked into this restaurant, and there she was, a hostess that just caught my heart. I looked into her eyes, and I didn't need anything. I didn't need to say anything, do anything. I could have the worst body language. I could have thrown all this out the window because something about my frequency was resonating with her. She looked at me. We knew it was on. She was the hostess, though. Sucks hitting on the hostess. You know why? Because you got to go to your table. You get sent to your table, and you say goodbye to the host. Bye-bye. Bye, beautiful girl. And then you sit at your table and you're like, and you're thinking to yourself, I gotta think of something, reason to go up front. Yeah, there's something in my water, and I need to tell the hostess. Brilliant. And then I realized, Sean, come on now. Raise your energy. Let go of the outcome. Let her come to you. So I let go. A few minutes later, the waitress came to the table, and she was gorgeous. And I'm looking at closer, and I'm thinking, wow, you look an awful lot like the hostess. And she said, well, my friend, that's because I was. And I said, what? What are you? She's like, I was just filling in for the girl who's really the hostess in the bathroom. I'm your waitress. And I looked at her, and I went, yes, you are. We started a banter. We started some fun. I did an experience that was out of body. I just said, you know what, Sean? It's time. It's time. It doesn't matter how this ends. It doesn't matter if this is forever. It doesn't matter if you get her number. It doesn't matter at all. Just have fun. By the time we were done, I waved her over, and I said, I got to tell you something. And she said, what's that? We had this awesome chemistry, and I said, the food is excellent. Will you tell the chef? And she's like, oh, I certainly will. I'm like, can you tell the manager that the service here is a little iffy, though? And she's like, you know your leftovers? I'm going to spit in them, you know? And I'm like, oh, I got to have this one. I like a little banter. I like a girl that can keep up with me. You don't want a girl that you play around with and she sits in the corner and goes, oh, stop her. I want a girl that's like, oh, yeah, fool, bring it. I want that in a woman. I want the feistiness. That's just me. You got to find what you want, gentlemen. But that was a tunnel light moment, because guess what happened? She did give me her name. She gave me her number. We went out. I turned her into my girlfriend. Now, we're not still together, but we had a great long-term relationship, and it never ended with, Sean, I can't do this, because I realized that I had grown and that relationship wasn't the last relationship for me. I learned something from her. She learned something from me. But the greatest experience, gentlemen, was the tunnel light moment. I realized you can have anything you want when you let it all go. Something happened a few months ago. David, you don't even know about this. But It was late 2 in the morning. I was in San Francisco, and I was laying down on a hospital gurney, and they were racing me through the ER. It felt like something had exploded in my back on the right side, and my body was filling up with fluid, and I couldn't sit up. And it was excruciating. I had over 200 bone fractures with my body, but yet this was tremendous pain. And I realized that my appendix, I thought it burst. And it's 2 in the morning, and I'm in this town. I'm on business. I'm being raced to the hospital. I'm laying on the gurney, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, watching the lights go by, and I'm hearing just my breath. And my heart is pounding, and I'm thinking, this is going to be it. Sean, people don't make it through usually burst appendix, especially somebody your size. Sean, did you have a good time? And I said, I did. I did have a good time. And you know what raced through my mind? Not what you may think. What raced through my mind was not, oh, I didn't get to do this. I didn't get to buy that. I didn't get to go out with this girl. I didn't get to have this. I didn't think about stuff and events. I thought of 2 things when I was laying on that hospital gurney, 2 in the morning, fearing for my life. I thought of everybody I cared about in my life. The picture just came in. Do you guys remember microfiche when you were a kid at the library? That thing you would turn and the pictures would go by quickly? You raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I saw everyone I cared about in a microfiche way. Boom, boom, boom. Friend, girlfriends, family, people I had met in seminars. All these people that I had seen in my life just were whizzing by, and I was thinking, I'm going to miss you, I'm going to miss you, I'm going to miss you. And then another moment came up, and a sadness came over me, and I thought I had more to do. I had more to do. I had more to do on this planet. Not now, not yet. I'm not done. The doctor came in, and you know what happened? I looked at him. I was willing to pay him any amount of money to tell me what's wrong with me, what's going on, how much time do I have? And you know, in your life, there are moments when you are in so much pain, you'd pay any amount of money to figure out what's wrong with you. And you'd pay an even awful lot more money to figure out how to get out of that pain. The doctor came in, he said, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is the next 24 hours of your life are going to be excruciating. The good news is you're going to live. You have a kidney stone, Sean, and it's blocking in your urethra. It's your ureter tube. And as soon as you pass it, all this pain will go away. But until then, you'll want to die. It'll hurt so bad. I looked at him. I pulled him in, and I gave him a big hug. And I'm like, I've had pain. Bring it. You've had pain in your life. And I tell you, don't run from pain, gentlemen. Embrace it. Because write this down, some brilliant piece of wisdom my mom told me. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. If you're in pain with your dating life, hold on. Hold on. Because something that may be stopping you could be so tiny, and once it passes, you'll be free. In that hospital moment, 24 hours, it was not 24 hours, it was 32 hours of excruciating pain. They gave me so much morphine that they said any more morphine will kill him. I'm like, let's take some chances here. I gotta tell you, gentlemen, I reevaluated my life in that hospital bed. I thought about, what do I want? I'm getting another chance. I felt like George Bailey. You know, if you raise your hand, you've seen It's a Wonderful Life. I was on the bridge and I thought, I just want to jump. Am I going to have to jump? And then all of a sudden the angel shows up and I realize, wait a minute, I get it all back? I get to see my parents again? I get another shot. I get to find maybe my soulmate, my total 10. I got another shot. I can reach out and speak to more guys about this message that I care so much about. I get more time to share, to love, to grow, to learn, to breathe. Thank you. You know what's so valuable is your breath. Gentlemen, one of my best friends is a yoga instructor. And she has taught me that breath is life. And that your last breath signifies the end of life. You are going through moments with women right now that may feel like it's taking your breath away. It is not. You always have your breath as long as you're alive. Let's do an activity. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs so much, more than you've ever filled them before. And I want you to hold it. I want you to hold it so bad. Hold it for so long until you crave the next breath, until you want nothing more than oxygen. In fact, as you're holding your breath, keep your hand up as long as you're holding your breath. And you're going to put your hand down when you finally need that next breath. I want you to do this safely, but I want you to hold that breath. Let it fill you up. Let it show you that you are still alive. I just want your hands to come down as you crave that next breath and you take it in. Let's do this now. Take in your next breath. Put your hands down. You know, David, you're brilliant. You talk about how a needy man can't get a woman. I agree. I'm a metaphor junkie, gentlemen. I'm of Ericksonian hypnosis training. And as a metaphor junkie, I can tell you that neediness, it basically equates to wanting something so bad that you think you're going to die without it. When you're holding your breath for a very long time, what do you think about? Do you think about, oh, what are my taxes this year? Oh, the economy. Oh, I come from a broken parent home. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I'm too fat. No, you think, I want another breath. I want to breathe. I want to live. But when you're needy, you act like you're going to die without it. Gentlemen, you're not going to die without women. But you can live with them. Gentlemen, I want you to embody what I'm learning here in my life. And that is, there are certain things that I do that put me in a category that people keep calling inspiration. And I'm thinking at some point, you know, a hot woman hears over and over, you're hot, nice body. And you hear that over and over, so they become desensitized to it. I have had to work very hard not to become desensitized to inspiration. Because to me, I'm just me. I'm just another guy. I'm just a guy who's doing what he thinks he needs to do to fully enjoy life. Women love when you figure out how to enjoy your life without them. And they, my friends, are only the gravy on top. You know, a lot of people, they get into relationships because they want something. You know, it's like, I look at it this way. That's not why to get in a relationship. Don't get in a relationship so you know where your next lay is going to be. Don't get in a relationship because you want to be able to show up to your family with somebody hot on your arm, or show her to your buddies and look like the man when you walk into some new place. That's not why to have a girl. Look at it this way. We are the color blue. We're men. We got the color blue. I just arbitrarily picked this color. Women are not blue. They're yellow. Women are bright. They're beautiful. They're yellow. Together, what do we make? Green. We cannot make green without them. They cannot make green without us. Gentlemen, the reason why to be in this program, to transform, to figure out how to be either with your total 10 or just to fully embrace life or whatever you came here for, it's so that you can make something with some other person that you couldn't make on your own. I am so at peace now, gentlemen. Why? Well, I don't want sex anymore. I like sex. I don't want money anymore. I like money. I don't want accolades. I don't want people to praise me. I like that. All I want is to get up each morning and be excited to be alive. That's all I want. And since I've taken that over, I've had more dates with more amazing women in my life than I could handle at that point in my life. I'm at the place now, gentlemen, where when I come into a room, I'm not thinking anymore about, ooh, where's the hottest girl? I want to talk to her. What do I say? I'm just Sean, here to enjoy. I didn't get there on accident. This was an evolution. You want to be there. The way you're going to be there is you have to figure out what really makes you happy. I started a magazine called Inner Game Magazine. I created that. Why? Because I love inner game. In fact, I believe inner game is everything. Because here's a metaphor. You guys like metaphors, right? Here's a metaphor. Let's say you want to go sailing. You want to navigate the seas. So you go out and buy the best boat. And then let's say you buy the best boat and you're thinking, I got to now know how to sail this boat. I got to know how to raise the mast. I got to know how to harness the wind. I got to have the best clothes that can handle the weather. And you get all this stuff. You compile all these resources. And you look at me on the dock and you say, I am now ready to sail. You get onto your boat and you head out and you have the wind and everything's going great. And you get off maybe 10 miles offshore and you're sailing with ease and it feels so good. And then all of a sudden, right when you're at the peak of experience, you feel this jolt from behind you and the boat snaps in half. And it begins to sink. And you're thinking, what the heck? I got the best boat. I paid the best artists to teach me how to design the best looking gear. Oh my goodness, I got the best sails and I know how to handle the wind. What happened? And as you're flailing around, water's filling up your lungs, and you look back and you notice something. You never untied the boat from the dock. And it ripped the boat in half. I can't tell you the number of men that come into my office and they've learned how to dress, and they've learned how to walk, and they've learned what to say, and they've learned where to take the girl, and they learned all this stuff to sail the boat, but they never untangled the rope from the dock. The dock are your issues, gentlemen. That stuff that you haven't dealt with. And you may get off 10 miles offshore. You may get 100 miles offshore. You don't untie that boat, it's only a matter of time. Now, some of you guys, you get like a foot offshore and you're like, oh, what the heck? She wouldn't give me her number. I got to learn how to sail better. You got to learn how to untangle from your mind. Gentlemen, the time I have with you is so valuable because I want to teach you a few things to untangle your mind. Is important. I have gotten to the point where I can manifest things that would blow your mind because they blow mine. I recently got a book deal, something I'm very proud of. Big, major New York publisher. Didn't show up right away, though. 23 publishers turned it down. I had to go through 3 literary agents over a period of 2.5 years. And you know what happened? I wanted the foreword to be written by somebody special to me, Tony Robbins. I wanted Tony to write the foreword. And I started on my journey to figure out how to get Tony to write the foreword. And I went out, I started talking to his people. He had met me before, and I knew that if I could just make it happen by asking the right people, he would write the foreword. Except I just started to realize that when you get really big, really powerful, there's a lot of gatekeepers around you. And they're legal people. They were saying, Sean, sorry, he can't do this. He doesn't write forwards. He'll write you a testimonial. Sorry. And I just, okay, I'll try getting hold of one of his friends. Tried all these different angles. And then finally, my friends, my family, everyone around me, after several months of trying to go after this, and we realized we had to get the forward, they said, Sean, just let this one go. It's not going to happen. And I thought to myself, as long as I have breath in my lungs, I know this is possible. I went to bed the night that everybody told me to let it go, pack it up. And I visualized, and I dreamed, and I thought over and over, this is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. The next morning, gentlemen, what took place, I can't explain in science. I really can't. I got an email from Tony Robbins. It was on accident. The email said, Sean, there is a problem with my subwoofer in my living room. Can you come over and fix it? I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense. Well, apparently, the guy that fixes his stereo equipment for his house is named Sean. And you know when you get to typing in the to address, and you start typing, and then a name just comes up automatically, and you hit enter, and that's the name that gets selected? He thought it was his stereo guy. It was me. He accidentally sent Sean Stevenson an email. Accidental? I immediately wrote him back. I said, Tony, I would love if you could write the foreword to my book. He shot back the foreword in 24 hours after that email. I showed up to my publisher. I showed up to my editors. I showed up to my friends, my family. I said, never doubt me again. Everybody, what I want you to do is I want you to stand up. I want you to give a big hug to your brother on your left and right. Do that now. All right, go ahead, sit back down. What does the heck does Sean's forward to his book have to do with my dating life? Everything. I realized something, fortunately, at a very early age. And that is that most of society has it all upside down. Most of society believes that reality happens to you, and then you create a mentality based on that. You know, you're born with this disability, and then you have this emotion around it. You know, a girl turns you down, and then you handle it. No. No. One day in my life, and I explained it a little bit on the Cocky Comedy program. I'm not going to go into the depth of it, but that's how I got my first kiss. I manifested my first kiss. But what I didn't share on that program was that inside my head, I heard like a James Earl Jones voice that said, and I repeat this twice for you, Sean, mentality creates reality. Sean, mentality creates reality. And it was like every light bulb in the room went off, and I couldn't see anymore because there was so much light coming into me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's like Star Trek stuff. What? That's like Yoda stuff. What? I don't look like Yoda. What? Well, actually, I kind of do. A woman once told me, she's like, oh, Sean, I don't date little guys. I'm like, good thing I'm not little. Listen, mentality creates reality. Let me give you another example in life. When I learned this with women, I learned that if I have a thought in my mind and I start making pictures and I flush out doubt, I literally manipulate reality in a beautiful, harmonious way. When I meet women now, I visualize them loving me. When I meet guys and friends, I visualize them caring about me. When I go into a business deal, I visualize them wanting to buy from me. I flush out doubt because people that are like, oh, manifesting doesn't work. Yeah, for you. Why? Because you want instant payoff without full faith. And I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm talking about that knowingness in your mind that anything is possible. My buddies and I, we were in a hot tub recently, and we were just chilling out. I don't get to see my friends that often because I travel so much on business. I'm always on an airplane. I'm always in the car going somewhere. So when I get to see my buddies, when I get to see my friends, that juices me. So I'm sitting in this hot tub. We're in San Diego, and my buddy looks at me. He's like, so you really believe this manifesting stuff? Okay, Mr. Yoda, I'm going to challenge you. Bring it. He said, I'm thirsty. I want a Corona right now. And you can't go buy it, and you can't go ask for it. Bring it to me. And I said, not until you're ready to believe that it's going to happen, because you're not going to get this Corona. I am. And I don't even drink. I'm like, I will show you how to manifest. And this is why you won't get it and why I will. And I got quiet in my mind. And I just went into that silent space where you know that the world is perfect. That you know there are no flaws. And you know that you can have anything you want if you believe. And I just heard the voice, mentality creates reality. And then I let it go. And we start hearing this song coming from a distance. All my friends drive a low rider. Low rider. And then all of a sudden we see this low rider pulling up outside the complex. And these dudes jump out. They got the stereo blasting. And they come walking in. And I just go like this. I put my hand out like this. And I wait. This guy looks at me. He's like, Holmes, dude, you want a Corona? What does this have to do with women? Do you think this could come in handy? You better believe it. Here's the little catch. You can't manifest evil. I don't believe. I believe that evil is what you want it to be, but I believe that true, pure energy of manifesting is meant for only one thing: greatness. Contributing to other people, contributing to yourself, love. When I meet a woman, I know her life is going to be better because of it. And I know I'm better because of her life. I know when I meet you that you have something to teach me. I've been traveling for 12 years now speaking as a professional. And I've learned that everybody's got a best-selling book in them. I learned that everybody's got a made-for-TV movie about their life. Just hasn't been written. I could pull any one of you out of the crowd, sit you up here on stage, ask you about your life, and we could be moved to tears, we could be moved to laughter, we could relate. Why? Because We're all alike, yet we're all different. We look different for only one reason, so we could tell each other apart. That's it. We all share one thing in common. Actually, two things. Let me start with the first one. I'll do it in an activity, prove it to you. Raise your hand if you've ever been happy. You don't have to be happy right now. Okay, put your hands down. Raise your hand if you've ever been sad. Put your hands down. Raise your hand if you think you're sexy. Don't be looking around for approval. The editor of my magazine, Liz, she's in the room right now, and Liz, she wrote me an email, and she said, I got it, Sean, for the magazine. I know what an ass is now. I'm like, what's an ass? That's when a guy has an approval-seeking syndrome. That's an ass. You don't want to be an ass, guys. Stop seeking approval. You're perfect. You have everything you need. Why did I have you raise your hands? Happy, sad, angry, scared, lonely, excited. We've all had these things called emotions. Communication is just an exchange of information. When you communicate with a woman, she'll know who you are on the outside. She'll know where you come from. She'll know what you like. She'll know what you don't like. You'll know about her external world, but not until you get to the emotion do you get to the next level of interaction, and that's connection. Write this down. Connection is an exchange of your humanity. You want a woman to fall in love with you, connect with her, and ask nothing more from her than connection. I'm in a fraternity. Our motto in our fraternity is give, expecting nothing thereof. Nothing can be further from the truth. It's so real. Man, when you meet a woman and you're like, ooh, what I'd like to do to her. Yeah, what I'd like her to do to me. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, right and wrong, that's all energy. I'm talking about essence here. I'm talking about deeper experience of connection. I got to the point now, and I've talked to a lot of guys in my magazine. I sat down with some of the greats. And in sitting down with them, I learned that, wow, you know what's even better than sex? It's even better than approval, and even better than any of that stuff. It's connection. It's feeling like when I look into someone's eyes, I realize they're no different than me. And when I meet a woman, I realize I have to remind her how amazing she is. Because, guys, you got to know, women do not have it easy. I mean, I know we think about it, yeah. No, let me walk you through it. I have a sister I'm close with. I have a mother I'm close with. I have my grandmother that I'm close with. I have many female friends that I'm close with. And they have challenges we never have to worry about. Job discrimination because of their sexual parts? Did they make less just because of their sexual parts? What? Wait a minute. They have to go through this thing called this menstrual cycle that just can cause you to feel different ways, feel embarrassed, feel ashamed. I don't know what that's like. Wait, they have to deal with creepy guys that only want their bodies, have no care sometimes for their minds, their hearts. Wait. They get called a slut if they want to have sex and a prude if they don't. Whoa, this is a lot to handle. Guys, you want to fall in love. You want a woman to fall in love with you. Connect with the fact that she's going through pain that you could never imagine. Now, it doesn't mean we don't have challenges. We do. We do, but I think if you're really honest, you'd say that the deck is very much stacked and that we need to raise them up. We need a woman to leave our presence feeling so good about themselves. You've heard the term neg. Raise your hand if you've heard the term neg. I'm trashing that one out of this community. I'm calling it the peg, a positive attitude. Bring her spirits up. You know what? I go in, I still do the cocky, funny thing. I meet a woman, I walk up to her, I'm like, hey, you dropped something, sweetie? She's like, what? I'm like, your smile. Put it back on. Let me tell you, gentlemen, A peg and a neg sometimes look like the same things because sometimes they both end up wanting to be with you, but one is just because they don't feel like enough. One feels like a child in a biology lab, like I'm not enough, and the other one is something totally different. It's that feeling that, whoa, a man sees something in me I don't even see in myself. I want more of this guy. I want to be around a guy who builds me up. You know when I know a date went just phenomenal? When she leaves with one of these grins on her face that she can't wipe off. That she's just like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, I know, but you got to. I want to, you have to leave. I want to miss you. Go. Gentlemen, women, they want to be around a guy that's happy. Why? Because happiness is sexy. Do you know how many women, they meet me, they're not thinking about sex initially. They're not thinking, ooh, I've been waiting all night for a 3-foot-tall man in a wheelchair. No. No. Gives me this great advantage, though, because when I come into the experience, I let her know that, you know what, I want you to know something. I enjoy being with you. And I get that you probably didn't fantasize about me growing up and thinking about the guy on the big white horse, but I got something that no tall, dark, and handsome man could ever bring you. She said, what's that, Sean? I said, me. I will bring you to places in your heart and in your mind that will shatter the experience of reality because you'll learn you are not a body, you are a spirit. And I am the best at sexual, spiritual connection. But you know what? If that's not your thing, I gotta get going. Well, wait. Gentlemen, you have to realize that when a woman is with you, she wants to feel at peace. The women up on stage, they said women want to be at peace. That's because they got all that stuff going on, just like you do. Raise your hand if you've ever had like chatter in your mind. It's like, you're not enough, you're not tall enough, and it's just louder and louder and louder and louder. Raise your hand if you've been there. Yes, I know. It ends the moment that you start parenting yourself. Raise your hand if, when you were growing up, you had great parents. Raise your hand if you had great parents. Put your hands down. Raise your hand and just be honest. We want the honesty in the room. Raise your hand if you feel like your parents might have done a better job if they could have learned a little more. Okay? Whatever the scenario is, it's time you parent yourself. And so when you have those voices, they're not evil. When I started off in this world, I thought, oh, you have to kill the insecurity. You have to hunt it down, shoot it, beat it, and tell it, out of my head. No. Every negative voice in your head is trying to protect you guys. It's just a little child, and it doesn't know how. It's screaming for attention. Help me, help me, help me. I'll be obnoxious to you. I will make fun of you. I will do anything in my power to get you to realize I just want to be protected. I just want to feel loved. I just want to feel safe. If you can parent yourself by saying, shh, I know. It's all right. We're going to make it through this one. We made it through the last one. We'll make it through more. I got your back here. You start talking to yourself like a best friend. Watch out. Good things are coming. The challenge is if your life is chaotic right now, it's because you're probably talking to yourself like an enemy. In fact, most people, and I'm not going to say in this room because you're already here to learn, grow, but most people in that society that I reach out to, if they talk to their friends the way they talk to themselves, they wouldn't have any friends. If you talk to a girl that you like the way you talk to yourself, she would run. If you talk to your boss the way you talk to yourself when you're beating yourself up, you'd be fired. Why don't you talk that way to them? Why? Because you probably respect them. Whoa. You guys respect yourself? Like, really? Like, you ever spent time looking in the mirror and went, man, I'm really glad to be you. Like, it sounds like hocus pocus, I know. But here's an activity. I want you to write down on your paper 10 things that you have been torturing yourself over that you're finally ready to grow out of. And maybe they're not 10. Maybe you've done a lot of work and you only have one. But if you're growing, you got new stuff maybe. I want you to write down 10 things that you have tortured yourself too long for. And just put your pens down when you're done so I have an idea if we have the majority done. But we'll take as long as we need. I need 4 guys, real quickly, just run up to the mics right now. Run up to the mic. I want 4 guys who have the courage to realize that by declaring this, they're done, they're letting it go. I need 2 guys on this side, 2 guys on this side. Come on up. Go, go, go. And first of all, totally commend you for sharing this. This is huge.
This is absolutely huge.
Come on up and share it. Go ahead.
All right. My name is James Essex. I'm here from Los Angeles. And the 5 things that I got to put down was I felt like I looked too young. I felt that I was flaky. I felt that I was not being committed in what I wanted to do. I know that I can do better than what I am doing, and that I felt immature by doing all that. And I have made steps already from Mondays, starting from the keeping yourself committed and actually taking steps and calling people to make that happen. And I'm ready just to drop all of that bullshit that is going on in my life in order to make myself go to where I want to go and attract the people that I
Give
want
him a
to
round of
attract.
applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Shu from Los Angeles. I only got 3,
Okay.
and they are the most important to me.
Okay.
My first one is, I don't love myself or everyone. I never had the thought that I could possibly love everyone, because I never loved all the aspects of myself.
Okay.
And my second thought is, I think some people are assholes or bitches when we look at them. But when I really think of them, when I really see them, they are just my own deficiencies. They all represent my own deficiencies. And third is, I thought myself as a limited guy, which I broke it today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I want to say that when I signed up for David's program, I thought I'm not advertising for him. I thought I might not get $1,000 worth of the money. And the first day of this program, I got all my money worth back. The second day, I just doubled my money. And the third day, I more than tripled my money.
Give it up.
So thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, hi, Sean. My name is Eric from Los Angeles.
How are you,
And
Eric?
hi. My top 2 things that I'm ready to grow out of are, 1, a feeling like I have a critical defect in my personality and my being that I'll never outgrow. And number 2 is a lack of true self-love and self-acceptance.
Are you ready to let that go?
Yes.
You ready to grow into the man that no longer holds that story?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's give him a round of applause.
Dan from Baltimore.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good.
3 things that came up for me, and these are, and just to give a little bit of history, I mean, I've been using David's materials for about 3 years, and really, as soon as I got a hold of it, just personal growth is really all that I got into. And when I first heard Man Transformation, I said, oh, that's cool, but, I've kind of already done that. And then I started getting honest with myself and realized that, well, you know what, I really haven't. And so I kind of really got honest with myself and came here. I said, I got to let go of these things that I'm still holding on to. And it's just been absolutely amazing. But the three things that came out for me was these limiting beliefs of I can't attract the woman of my dreams, I can't create a successful business where I'm working independently, and I can't be totally independent from my parents.
Wait. Are you ready to let that go?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
100%.
Prove it to yourself. Let's give him a big hand. I'm so glad. I am so glad to be in your life. Because you're all teaching me things. You're teaching me that I am enough. You're teaching me that I am making a difference. I see it in your eyes. I do. So those things that you wrote down, how do you let them go? Well, you turn to NLP and they'll collapse anchors. I know, I'm a trainer of NLP. You know, you turn to Huna and they'll cut the aka. You turn to hypnosis and they'll pull out the unconscious voice. You turn to Landmark, you turn to Robbins. Everybody's going to do a different thing. You know what really is going to do it for you? You. That's it. How many self-help books can you read till you get to that moment where you finally realize, uh-oh, it's my turn now. There's no guru alive that's going to cut this out of my life. This is my time. And here's how I cut out my story. I'm constantly cutting it. Because as you grow, gentlemen, you're not going to get to a point where you're never going to feel insecure. No, you're going to have new challenges. Guess what? I started getting beautiful women dating me. I was thinking, I'm never going to be insecure again. Look at this, guys. Then I started having really cool friends. My buddy Lance Mason, are you in the room? No. Lance from Pickup 101 and I were just talking, and I said, you know what, Lance, I have this issue that came up for me. I'm just shocked that I still have it. And this morning I let it go. I'm like, you know, I had really smooth, quality buddies in my life. David D'Angelo, Lance Mason, David Wigan, all these speakers, Grant Adams. The list goes on and on and on. And I noticed that, you know, like I had this thought in my mind of, well, do I really want to introduce them to my women? You know, what if I lose the supply? Is this a good idea? And then I heard this come up. And I went, whoa, Sean. It's time to grow again. It's going to be all right, my friend. What's the lesson you got here? And then I found the lesson. You have to find the lessons to your thoughts. Your thoughts are not to haunt you, gentlemen. They're to protect you. They're to take you places. So let's do something really powerful that'll help you with that list of limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs. It's called forgiveness. Most of us are taught to forgive other people. We're taught constantly about in religion and in personal growth and in therapy and in our parents. And we're taught you got to forgive people. You got to move on. You got to forgive. If you don't forgive, they're going to own you. And I agree. Tonight I want you to go to bed forgiving yourself for how you've treated yourself for too long. Gentlemen, I want to finish with a passage from my favorite book. Well, it's in my top 10, really. It's The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I want to be cool like David D'Angelo and read from a book. Are you a born writer? Were you put on earth to be a painter, a scientist, an apostle of peace? In the end, the question can only be answered by action. Do it or don't do it. It may help you to think of it this way. If you were meant to cure cancer or write a symphony or crack cold fusion and you don't do it, you not only hurt yourself, even destroy yourself. You hurt your children, you hurt me, you hurt the planet. You shame the angels who watch over you, and you spite the Almighty who created you, and only you with your unique gifts for the sole purpose of nudging the human race 1 millimeter farther along in its path back to God. Creative work is not a selfish act or a bid for attention on the part of the actor. It's a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you've got. Gentlemen, give yourself what you got. Thank you. Take questions? Take a question?
What?
Are we going to end there, or you want me to take one question?
I think you've taken enough questions.
Oh, gotcha, big man. Sorry. Love you, buddy. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing.
You bet.
Wow, huh? You know, before we go to break, let's just review, just kind of take in what you got out of that. Who's feeling an emotion right now? Yeah. It's a good emotion to feel, whatever it is. Good, safe place to feel it. Turn to a blank page in your journal. Moments like this are moments when you have awareness, where you can see things differently. You've been shaken out of your old way, pulled up to a higher level, inspired. You can see the you that you can become. We don't get these very often in life. These types of moments are priceless. You can't buy them. They're not for sale. There is no price, priceless. If you're experiencing an emotion along with being able to see clearly, this might be the first time for some of us. You might want to make note of that. Write down what you can see and what you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling an emotion and you're really enjoying it, and you're thinking, wow, maybe I could have some of these emotions once in a while. This isn't too bad. What's your realization? What do you have right now? Don't judge it. Don't try to intellectualize it too much. Don't get too caught up in your head. Remember, you're talking to yourself here. You're going to be going back to this later, like dipping your finger back into this moment. What do you want to remind yourself of in your future? What do you want to remind yourself that you are clear about at this moment, right now, in your future? What can you see clearly so that in the future, when you look back at that page and you read these words, you can say, I'm not there anymore and I don't feel that emotion, but I know that I knew then. I know that I knew. And is there a message you want to send yourself in the future? What's the message that you want to send yourself? Sting has a great song, and the line in the song says, "Send your love into the future." When I first heard it, I thought, maybe he was hitting the bottle that night or something. That's a little trippy. Send your love into the future. But it was such a catchy song, my favorite song on that album. I've listened to it a lot, and just Sting is so profound. What you can do right now for yourself, you can send your own love into the future for you, right now. This is a moment of group awareness and individual awareness. Do you have a message for yourself to put in a bottle so that you can open it up and say, right, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's where I'm going. Keep writing. I'm going to keep talking. One metaphor that I like to use is the metaphor of the higher self and the lower self. Just words, just an idea. The higher self and the lower self. When we're in our higher self, our three brains, that part of us that we might call spirit, are operating from abundance, from possibility, from optimism, from awareness, from what you might call love. We can see the bigger picture. Anything that happens, we can fit in, we can roll with it. It's okay. We can learn from it. When we're on our lower selves, our three brains are pessimistic. They're fearful. They're negative. They're pulling in, they're clenching. They're seeing everything through a lens that is interpreting them as being threatening to our life in some way. We cross that boundary from higher to lower self without realizing it. It's important as men, this is my perspective, I believe it's important for us as men to learn to detect when we're in our lower self and our higher self. And when we're in our higher self, that's when we make important decisions. That's when we have important conversations. That's when we make important moves. That's when we plan our life. In our higher self. And when we cross over into our lower self, we say, it's okay that I'm in my lower self right now. That's where I am right now, so let's roll with it. Let's see what happens. See what I get to learn here. But I'm not going to make any important decisions while I'm here. I'm not going to have any important conversations. I'm not going to plan my future. And if I do need to make some important decisions or have an important conversation, plan the future, I need to figure out how to pull myself up into my higher self. Because when you're in your lower self, you're not going to be making your future better or your now better by making a lot of decisions there. And if you think about it, your future is just more now. And it's not about making your future better. It's about continually making now better. Now. Now. And you can invest in your now in a way so that your now just keeps getting better. If you get too invested in this idea of the future and the past, you'll think, oh, I want to make my future better. And then you'll start to believe in this future thing and everything will be about the future. And you'll never get there because you'll be programmed to be focused on a time that isn't now. In this moment, after that experience, we got pulled up into our higher selves. We got pulled up on that mountain for a second where we could look out and we could see our own life in a different way. So in this moment, in your higher self, this is when it's time to make some decisions. for your future. This is when it's time to see who you can become. This is when it's time to see what your purpose might be in life. And I ask you right now, what could your purpose be from this perspective? You might want to write it down. I want to put it in that bottle. I want to send that note to yourself in the future, in the now that's coming. And you also might want to remember, when you feel this way, to take advantage of it. Pull your journal out and make some decisions. See the bigger picture of your life. When you get these, this is the time to reappraise, reevaluate, revision your life. These are the moments.